Hey guys, I'm so excited to be with you. I am Melissa Kathryn. Today we are talking about something that's really, really important. So you are joining me now. This is Done with Dieting Live. This is truly the place to come. Every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, we're going to be here and I'm going to be taking you through the different things that you can do to help support you in your journey and being done with dieting, what that's really all about, and how to lose weight without dieting, with ease, and with a lot of joy so you can get back to living the life that you've been wanting to live and fully being seen, wanting to be seen, and thriving in life in a body that you love. And that's really what I'm all about. It's about stop dieting and start living and giving you the tools to do just that. And a big piece in that, if you are new to me, my name's Melissa Kathryn. You can head on over to my website, melissakathryn.com, to learn more about me. I am a holistic nutritionist. I am an ex-fitness competitor, winning best body in the INBF, which is the International Natural Body Federation, ex-trainer, also ex-fashion designer, turned nutritionist and health advocate in freeing women from dieting to truly experience lasting change in that inner and outer transformation that they've always desired. So much of what we do and what I do with my clients and what I want to support you in is bringing the joy back into your life and having a blast in the process. And with that, it's also my approach is holistic, so I don't believe it's just about fitness or about what you put into your body. I believe that there's different reasons for why we eat and continue to sabotage the very thing that we're saying that we want so much. And so in that process, I really heavily work with people in mindset and also in recognizing the emotional connection that they have with food. In saying that, you might be saying, okay, well, where does all this come from? And I'm sorry, sometimes there's all these different prompts that are coming up and I'm like, I hope I'm using something different tonight. So I'm really hoping that you can see me and that this is working okay. So with that, I specialize in disordered eating and emotional eating and helping to free you from that process. So today, what we are talking about, I think this is a perfect topic coming into Super Bowl, which is really about the all or nothing mentality, which is one of the dieting mentalities that I specialize in. In my book, Eat Right for Your Archetype, we break down the different forms of self-sabotage that we can have when dieting that can get in the way of true and lasting weight loss and change. So one of the things that I see often is this all or nothing mentality. And it's something, and I think Super Bowl is perfect because I see it as another test and a way for you to actually begin to socialize yourself in eating and being out without sitting there thinking that you're making yourself wrong with food, right? So how many times have you sat there and started off being good all day, and then by the end of the day, you end up eating a cookie or some chips and you all of a sudden go to this space that you're bad and you make yourself wrong. And once you begin doing that, you go into a downward spiral where you actually end up derailing yourself completely from any good that you did. And then you end up in a space where you sabotage yourself, end up eating more than you would have had you given yourself permission to just eat what you wanted to begin with. And not only that, but you've beaten yourself up, made yourself wrong, and derailed yourself for the next few days, weeks, even months. Right. And that's one of the things in the all or nothing mentality where people really live in black and white when it comes to dieting. There is no color. People always say live in the gray. I say live in the rainbow because life is meant to be lived. And when we're in a dieting mentality, then we're really in a prison of sorts. And it's that prison that actually keeps us in this place of restriction. And that restriction is what causes rebelling. So on the heels of Super Bowl, I thought it was perfect timing. And by the way, hi to everybody. It's so good to see you. I just am like, bam, bam, bam. So please, when you join, just let me know who you are, where you're from, and if this topic excites you. Is this something that you're needing? I really want that if I'm coming in here and we're doing these and I'm giving you, I see it as a mini training. All of these Done with Dieting lives are mini 30-minute trainings meant to help support you and give you essentially spot coaching and guidance to move you forward. And I really want to know, is this something that speaks to you? Is the all or nothing mentality something that you find that gets in the way of your weight loss success? Do you find that you go all in and you're great for a few weeks, and the minute that you start to see results, you sabotage yourself? Do you find that, and this is really the all or nothing mentality, do you find that you're good all day until you end up straying off of your list of okay, like dieters approved foods, and the minute that you have a brownie or a cookie or a bite of ice cream or a piece of cake or chips or whatever else it is, that then you end up derailing yourself and saying, F it, like I might as well just go for the gold, right? That's the all or nothing mentality. And that's what we want to break free from. Because when we're living in that space where we restrict, we will rebel. Where we have an unmet need in our lives, within ourselves, we will find a way. Our minds, our subconscious mind will find a way to get that need met. And until you are really in that space of honoring you and honoring your desires and honoring the things that you want in a space of balance, then you will not get there, right? Thank you, Andy. Amen, girl. Amen. And I saw so many other ladies from my community. It's so good to see you here. I love having you on each week. Post your questions below. Let me know if this resonates with you. If you're enjoying this, give me some thumbs up and some hearts. Pop those emojis so I know what's going on. Because sometimes with these, you know people are on, but you also feel like you're talking to yourself. So that being said, the all or nothing mentality. So what we're going to do today is really give you the tools and the tips that you need to rid yourself of the all or nothing mentality so that you can socialize and experience going out, having fun, whether it's Super Bowl, whether it's a wedding, whether it's going to a dinner party or an evening out or a date with your man, or, whether it's you eating at home. I mean, it doesn't matter. You want to be able to feel at peace with food and not feel like food is controlling you. And when we come from that dieting space, we end up really feeling like food's controlling us. And, the minute that we feel overly full, it's another reason when we sit down and we're like, that's it. I already feel full. I might as well just keep going. And then that feeling causes us to miss our workout, and it goes on and on and on. Oh, Katie and I watched this together. Sally Marie, hi. Nice to see you guys. So that being said, let's dive into a few things and let's just give you the tips that you need. Also, I want to remind you guys, stay on. We always create an amazing free gift for you that we post at the end. And it's always in alignment to help support you in whatever we're talking about today. So for this is the powerful steps that you need to rid you of the all or nothing dieters mentality. And with that, we have an amazing, since Super Bowl is here, hey girl, since Super Bowl is here, I wanted to give you a gift that would help you, because oftentimes, you know what, you're going to hear what it is when we get going. So one of the first things that I want to say, and I already touched on it, was get out. In order to get out of the all or nothing mentality, we have to live in the rainbow. That means living the gray ground. That means, well, not the gray, like I said, I like color. I like variety. I don't want to be controlled by anything. Dieting for me for a long time, food controlled me. If it was a good day, then I ate according to my diet plan. If it was a bad day, then I felt overly full, even if it was on healthy food, and I ate more than what I needed. And even if it was all healthy, I still beat myself up and I made myself wrong. And that detracted from my joy. There's a lot of things that I talk about in my Weight Loss for Life program and with my clients, where I talk about joy stealers and how to actually take the joy stealers out of our lives so that we can just experience endless joy without it detracting, without us giving it away. And one of the things with dieting is joy can be given away very quickly and very easily. And it's by the harshness that we place on ourselves based off of restrictions. So Where we restrict will rebel. And when we're talking about getting out of the all or nothing mentality, guys, it's about creating that balance. So one of the things that we want to do to live in the rainbow and to live in that spectrum is to be in that place where you have an element of allowance. So in order to live in the rainbow, we have to take out restriction, which freaks dieters out, because the only way that you're able to control what you put into your body is through having control and having a plan and knowing that if you follow that plan, it will get you the result. Well, if you're following me, then that diet plan hasn't worked for you, and it isn't working for you. And what that means is, not only is it not working for you, but you keep trying to do it over and over again. And that is the definition of insanity, right? So, so anybody coming to this that isn't able to stay, guys, this lives here. So you can watch it as much as you want. And so just make sure to check it out on Facebook, because it will stay on Facebook. So let me say this. Going back to that, when we're in that all or nothing mentality, we want to break free from the all or nothing by being in that space where you are and can trust yourself, essentially. And trusting yourself doesn't come on overnight. It's a process, and it's something that we work on in my programs for a while because the minute that you say yes to a diet is the first time that you separate from yourself. And that's the first time that you actually deviate and stop trusting yourself and trusting in your body that it knows what to do to get you to your ideal weight. Your body knows exactly what to do to get to your ideal weight. It's guiding you each and every day from the minute that you wake up. It's saying, drink more water. It's saying, please don't have coffee right now. It's saying, I need food. It's saying, you're giving me too much food. It's saying, please have some greens and stop with the sugar. It's saying, please limit the salt. I need more water. I'm telling you, by telling you that I need more water, your body is giving you the signals. Are you listening? When you've been dieting, you're not listening. You stopped listening, and you think that a diet and somebody else's voice and something that worked for somebody else is going to work for you. One of the things that I tell all of my clients is, listen, I am here to guide you, but nobody knows your body better than you do. And me knowing my body is what caused me to save my own life from cancer. So I am a huge advocate of connecting you. I know how to do it. I get my clients back into a place of not only trusting themselves, but loving themselves. Something else that stops happening, partnership and relationship to oneself, stops happening when we're a dieter. So how do we get in this space? How do we get out of living in the all or nothing mentality? Step one to this is getting out of the black and white, living in the color. How do we do that? We break free from restriction. How do we do that? Through allowance and through trusting ourselves. So what you want to start to do is give yourself a variety. Give yourself permission. Start to create partnership with your body. What does your body need? What does it want in order to lose, honestly, to feel good? Not even to lose the weight. You will lose the weight naturally by being in this space. You will lose the weight naturally by listening to what your body's wanting. Like I said, your body is not sitting there wanting you to stuff it and is wanting to feel, in a space of struggle with food or overly full. It's not wanting any of that. So I'm just going to turn this because I'm seeing a huge glare. Okay. There we go. I hope that's better. So you're not wanting that. So we do that again by creating allowance, and we create allowance through small steps towards trusting ourselves. Again, if you don't trust yourself, then it's never going to happen. You're never going to be in that place of permission with yourself to have what you want. Food is just food. Food is meant to be fuel. And when there is an emotion attached to food and to your experience with food, then food now has taken on human form. It's no longer just about food. And that's why dieting, trying to follow a plan, that's why you're sitting there going, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you need more willpower. You don't need more discipline. The reason why you can't stick to a plan anymore, to be honest, you were only able to stick to that plan for one diet in your whole life. And that one diet is what you keep having a memory of having worked for you to help you to lose weight. And now you've spent years trying to get back to that. Well, that one diet truly never worked because you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't still be struggling with the same thing. It helped you to do something different that your mind didn't know yet. But and that's why you were able to restrict for a short period of time in order to break free from the all or nothing mentality. So you stop sabotaging yourself so that you can actually reap the benefits of working out and of eating well, right? And so that you don't binge, you don't overeat, and you don't have these attachments to food. It's by getting out of that space. So we break free from the all or nothing mentality, one, by living in color, which means allowance, right? It just means I'm not going to be in the space where I'm going to restrict myself. It's really scary at first, but the more that you do it, the more that you trust yourself, the more that you trust yourself, the more that you communicate to yourself that you are safe around food and that you're not going to go overboard. And if you have 3 cookies, then you're going to eat the whole sleeve. Or if you start with that bag of chips, that you're going to do that. Or if you open up that jar of peanut butter, that you're not going to stop. You'll trust. And not only that, but your body will signal to you that it doesn't want anymore. And from that space, you'll begin to strengthen that muscle within you that's saying that it is, and that you are able to eat in moderation, and that it is safe for you to eat certain foods without feeling like they are going to cause you to gain weight. Because just hear this, it's not junk food that caused you to be overweight. It was your overconsumption. It's your overconsumption and the aftermath of what happened after you had those foods that's causing you to gain the weight. It's the guilt trip. It's the body shaming. It's the fact that you had a slice of pizza and that slice of pizza led to 2 more and then a bowl of ice cream. And then the next day you didn't go to your workout, and then you decided, oh, what the hell, I might as well eat whatever I want all weekend. I'll start over on Monday. It's the aftermath of the days and the mentality that followed that actually is what causes the weight gain. It's not the food, but mentally and emotionally, you attach yourself to the food. And that's where we get tripped up. And then that memory of that food causes us to have a negative association with it. That then triggers to our mind that when we eat that food, we binge on that food, or we go overboard with that food, and therefore it's a bad food. There's a lot of psychology behind what I teach and behind what happens when we get emotionally attached to foods. If food is filling voids for you in your life and areas for you where you struggle or are not fully feeling fulfilled, then you have to fill those areas of your life, right? It's like when people say they want to attract in their soulmate, and it's like, well, you have to become happy in your own life. You have to become all of you in order to attract that person in. In order to lose the weight, you have to fill the gaps that exist in your life where you are currently using food. Until you fill those gaps, you will keep turning to food. And that's a problem, right? So that's what we want to eliminate, because that's when we start to think we're wrong and we're broken and it must be this and it must be that and I need more willpower. No, that's not actually what's going on. You just have to understand, why do you keep eating food and feeling that you have no willpower after 8 o'clock at night? What is it about every time you're sitting in front of the television that you need to have food next to you? What is it about that 4 o'clock witching hour that has you going into a drawer or a cabinet or into the kitchen in the office? There are reasons. And if you want to know those reasons, you can go back to my previous videos where I talk about the difference between head and heart cravings and the emotions behind them and the steps to take. And if you want to know those and you don't, you can also go to my website where I have, or my YouTube channel where those videos are there. So step 1 of getting out of the all or nothing mentality is actually giving yourself permission and allowance, getting out of restriction so you stop rebelling and being in a space of, I call it living in the rainbow instead of living in black and white. Where we restrict, where we rebel, where we have an unmet desire or unmet need, we will find a way to get that need met. It's the way our minds work. It's human wiring. So knowing that, then you really want to look at yourself and say, where am I having a desire that I'm not giving myself permission to have it, right? It's just always think about little kids. You know, when you tell them something's off limits, they just keep going for it over and over and over again. You are no different. So that being said, sorry about the glare here. Step 2 of that, and this is really important, is we want to stay in the moment. And the way to get out of the dieter's mentality and that all or nothing mentality and to be in that moment is to be in the moment. So it's when we future trip, which means when we're thinking about the consequences of, okay, I just ate that cookie, therefore I've gained so much weight, and I've already gone overboard, and it's another day where I've messed up my diet, and now I'm never going to lose weight, and blah, 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 and why do I keep doing this? If you hammer something down, you end up breaking at some point and you just give in. Well, you're the one that's actually hindering your own accessibility to your superpower, to your inner strength. That hammer of that constant self-berating and negativity is what is bringing you down. If you and when you choose to stop that and shift into, okay, I ate a cookie, what's the big deal? It doesn't matter. I don't need to go crazy now. I had a cookie. I enjoyed the cookie. It has no emotional attachment or meaning to it. It is what it is, and now I'm going to go over here. Then you're getting out of that constant restriction, beat myself up, make myself wrong. Now I'm going to rebel, right? So again, it's being in the moment. What does that mean for you in that moment? And that's what you want to do. That's the space that you want to stay in. When you are in the place, oh, thank you, Emily. I love you, girl. When you are in, I love the messages that come up because my AD is like, Bing, what? Wait. And then I'm like, okay, hold on. So ADD is a real thing. So going back to that, when we're in that space, what I really want to tell you is, and it's so, so powerful to be with yourself. You know, be conscious of the choices that you're making. I'm going to have a cookie. Good. Enjoy the cookie. It's a cookie. It does not impact your self-worth in any way. And the more that you can shift out of those conversations, the better. The more that you have food attached to your self-worth, the longer you're going to stay in a space of yo-yo dieting, of binging, of restriction and rebelling, which is essentially not living. It's living in a dieter's prison, and it's staying in a place where food is controlling you, your happiness, and your thoughts. That's the last thing that we want. You're right. The name of my podcast, it's like done with dieting, stop dieting, start living. There's a reason. I lived for like 2 decades of being trapped by my mind and my dieting thoughts, from being overweight to being known for my fit body, and then staying there in orthorexia nervosa and binging and body shaming and up and down constantly in that cycle of up 10, down 10. And it was a very masochistic game that I played. And I see it over and over and over again with my clients, from having no weight to lose to having 100 pounds to lose. It doesn't matter. It's still the same game. How can I feel good to make myself wrong, to then derail myself, to then make myself wrong and binge, and then gain weight, to then force myself and hate on myself enough that the pain of hating on myself forces me to then diet. Then I go into a diet to then lose weight, to kind of feel good, to then make myself wrong, to sabotage myself, to beat myself up, to beat myself down, to then bring myself back to that space of full self-deprecation that's so painful that then I get on another diet. And so it goes. That's not living. You're not present to life, and you're not enjoying. So my mission is to get as many women that will allow me out of that, so that they can live free from food, fully enjoying food without it hindering their joy or happiness in life, so they shine bright to thrive in life in a body that they love. And that's what this is about. So taking you out of the all or nothing mentality on Super Bowl weekend was like my jam. I was like, here it is. Because this is a great opportunity for you to see where your mind goes around food. Are you already starting to go into stories of, oh, well, Super Bowl comes once a year. I'm going to have wings, and I'm going to have nachos, and are you already making it all about the food, right? That's test number one. Are you already making it all about the food? Are you already getting in fear mode that it's going to break you out of weight loss and you're not going to be able to handle it and you don't want the temptation, so you'd rather just not go, i.e. not have a social life because you insist that not having a social life is going to help you to lose weight, keep the weight off, because that's not living either. And when we don't have enough joy and pleasure in our lives, we end up rebelling again. And where do we rebel? In food, because that's generally the place that we've singled out as our only space for gratification and pleasure. When you take pleasure out of your life, i.e. fun, intimacy, socialization, and we heavily restrict food, then our main source for pleasure is going to be food. And that main source of food being our source of pleasure is where our mind will constantly go. So even when you're out having a good time, you'll still rather be home. I just keep turning this because okay, gonna have to keep backing up here because the sun is like setting. And yeah, so sorry, this is now cutting me off. I'm gonna move further back. I'm drinking some tea, little Gaia. Love me some Gaia. Okay, so that is the other piece that I would really want to share. So really look at how you're viewing Super Bowl weekend and what your plans are. Because if you're already like freaking out about the food and the options and all of those other things, then that's when you know that food's controlling you instead of you feeling in control around your life and your body and your health and your weight. And that's never a good place to be. Right? Like always think about weight loss and your body and your health in the context of a relationship, right? You never want to be sitting there obsessing and feeling that your happiness is contingent on another person, right? Doesn't really set up a relationship for much success, right? That's a lot of pressure and it will inevitably backfire. Well, the same thing goes with your weight. And if you're constantly feeling like you need to have a plan or be dieting or be on a diet or following a diet, then again, your diet's controlling you and it's controlling your life. And I'm committed to helping women to be free from this, because what are you going to be on a diet every time you want to go on vacation and sit there and obsess and freak out and not want to have food and have to have your plan with you? That's not living. And so I really like my clients to be, vacation ready all year round, whatever that looks like for them. The other piece to this so step one to getting out of the all or nothing mentality is being in that space of living in color, being in allowance, getting out of restriction. Step two is being in the moment, not being in a space of, and please post any questions for me. I so am honored for all of you who are here. This is wonderful. Introduce yourselves. Let me know any questions. And definitely say hi. This is great. So, the other piece is being in the moment, and that means not future tripping, not making food and things that you did that day mean something. Just be in the moment. And in that moment, what is the next step that you need to take to realign yourself, to feel good, and to really get back into a space of honoring where you're at. That's the thing and that's the thing in life. The way we eat really mirrors the way that we are in life. And how we are, the relationship that we have to ourselves is very telling to the relationship that we have with our lives and with other people. If you allow one thing to always throw you completely off, it's in life and with weight, it's always about just realign, get clear again, set an intention. And that's the way to stay in the moment. That action step is to set a clear intention. What is it that you're wanting? And then make sure that your next action steps are aligned with that. The next and final piece to this, and stay tuned because we have an awesome gift for you, is not only staying connected in that moment, but it's truly looking at when we remove the restriction and we're in that space within ourselves. So we went through living in the rainbow, removing restriction, being in the moment, not future tripping. And also the other piece to that, my apologies, is not bringing the past into the present. So if eating a cookie reminds you of the time when you binged and you start going into all these old stories with yourself about, oh, I always binge, I always do this, I always do that. This is what I do. This is how I mess myself up. Just think about it. It's like you're taking on your own attack of self bandwagon, and that's not helpful for anybody. So you really want to, again, remind yourself that that cookie has no meaning. It doesn't detract from your self-worth or from your goals. In fact, you allowing yourself that changes the game of your relationship with those specific foods and that item. And that's a big win, because most of the time there is a ginormous, I can't eat this list, and the good food list is sitting over here. However, when you're really honest with yourself, you end up being more in alignment with the foods that you restrict than the foods that you really want to be in allowance of. And that's really what happens. And it throws a lot of people off, where mentally they feel like they've been dieting forever, when in reality, they've just been on a mental diet. But the actual physical action steps that they're taking are not in alignment. And it's because their mind's exhausted of the dieting game. It needs a new way. And when your mind's exhausted, the new way it's telling you, hey, we don't want to do this anymore. It never worked. It's not working now. Stop. This is the definition of insanity. And let's try something else. And my invitation to you on Super Bowl Sunday and moving forward is to, again, get out of the all or nothing mentality so that you can remove self-sabotage. That means living in the rainbow, no more restrictions so that you don't feel the need to rebel. That means being in the moment, not future tripping, not bringing the past into the present, so that you can actually be present in that moment, realign with your specific goals, and set a clear intention and go to bed feeling proud. The last of the all or nothing mentality is to be in a place of constant, forever celebration of self. It's in celebrating oneself. It's in celebrating yourself, which is something that dieters never do. Most dieters and the women that follow me really fall under that camp of perfection. And this doesn't mean, and when I say that, I don't mean that you constantly walk around feeling perfect and looking perfect. It's actually the opposite. You like to give off the impression that everything's perfect. You don't ever want anybody to know when you're not okay. Privacy is a big thing. The house needs to look good. You are there for everybody else. But you're always judging yourself against perfection, telling yourself, I should be perfect. I should be this. I should be that. And it's actually those levels and those stories that you tell yourself that cause you to rebel against yourself and to live in that all or nothing mentality. Because when you're always telling yourself that you're wrong and that you're not enough, you inevitably will end up rebelling against yourself, and you will seek out some sort of pleasure, some sort of joy, something to take away the pain that you constantly have around you not being enough. So generally the all or nothing mentality type person has a limiting belief that they're not enough, that they're unworthy and undeserving of the things that they want in life. And they need to have again, in this perfection model, they need to have a high level of control. And where they don't have control, and when they feel out of control, they will try to take control, i.e. diet. And that's why they like to have a diet plan to follow, because it gives them control. And without it, they truly have no trust in themselves, and they don't know what they would do otherwise. And when we don't trust ourselves and we need to always have a plan, we're living a life of restriction. And that life of restriction, again, will leave us depleted, devoid, and in a space of deprivation where we will seek out to have our needs met. So that is the summary of today's Done with Dieting Live. I hope that this really spoke to you. What I have for you, so again, I want Super Bowl to be a test. If you're not on my list and you want to receive information from me, we have amazing We have a video coming for you. We have tips for Super Bowl Sunday. We have a video on foods to make for Super Bowl Sunday and healthy tips and tricks and treats that you can eat so that you can really enjoy without having any remorse or any regret over your choices, and really the steps and guides that you need to make socializing and having fun and going out and parties about the people and not about the food, and so that you can really, really enjoy and still lose weight and feel good and go to bed proud, and not only that, but look amazing in the process. The more that you live, the less you're going to want the food. The more that you enjoy, the less you're going to fixate on dieting. And that's the key to effortless weight loss with joy and ease. So that you truly just wake up and go, I don't know what I did, but I've never had so much fun. And I lost this weight so easily. And I've never not focused on it this much, right? That's what we really want. So just click below and grab our gift for today. These are 16 Super Bowl healthy treats and ideas for things that you can make and bring that will definitely be crowd pleasers and weight loss pleasers, or tummy pleasers, I should say. Tummy pleasers. They just feel really good in the body, and they're super tasty, and nobody will know that they're also really, really healthy, and that that you were able to make them in under 15 minutes. So I'm all about, I have a whole thing, a series of MK Fit in 5, meals in 5, recipes in 5, fitness in 5, and it's all in 5 minutes, and you can stack them or you can take them in one off. So this is where some of those came from, and I hope that you'll enjoy. Make sure to get the link below. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week for Done with Dieting Live. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And make sure to join us in our exclusive complimentary Done with Dieting group. It's a private exclusive group. It is women only, where you get additional support, daily inspiration, and spot coaching from me. I can't wait, and I really hope to meet you there, but I can't wait to see you next week. Next week, I have a special celebrity guest coming on to talk about love and weight loss, how to not only lose the weight, but have that amazing relationship. So whether you're in a relationship, whether you're wanting partnership, or whether you're married and just wanting to spice things up, and you're really looking at how can I do that and enjoy being with my partner, still losing weight and feeling great, or getting myself back out there, even with the weight on and in the process of weight loss, this is the show for you. I hope to see you next week on Done with Dieting Live. Sorry, I didn't realize I was still here. All right. Oh, wait, before I go, guys, does anybody have, any tips for when you're in the moment surrounded by all those yummy Super Bowl appetizers? How do we ground ourselves and take a step back and figure out what we really want? Great question. And I'm going to tell you, but also if you're on my list, I'm so sorry about the lighting today, guys. This is like kind of crazy. All right. If you're on my list, one of the things that I want you to know is you're actually going to get a video with, the lighting is nuts. All right. You're going to get a video. It's like, whoosh. You're going to get a video from me with some tips and things that I did on CW. And then also, it was a great TV segment that we did that I thought you guys would find really helpful. I'm also sending you exact mindset tips. So if you're not already on my list, head on over to my website, put your name and email in, and that way you'll make sure to always get all of these incredible tips, not only recipes and workouts and different guides, but really a lot of the mindset that's needed. It's really the mindset, guys. You know, you have an abundance of resources for recipes and workouts, but it's how do you stay on track mentally? How do you keep choosing that day in and day out? How do you take it one step at a time, one meal at a time, and not get fixated on if, you know, 1 week wasn't ideal, and really being in that space of consistent, committed, having compassion, and staying connected. The 4 C's that I always coach and talk about. So one of the things I want to tell you is, oh, Lori, thank you so much. And Linda, thank you guys. Sally Marie, oh my God. Andy, what's up, girl? You're a rock star. I don't know why I just said that. I'm like, you're a rock star. All right, so Maria, I want to go back to this question though. Any tips for when you were in the moment surrounded by all those yummy Super Bowl appetizers? Yes, and I want to tell you this. Guys, so important. You're not a victim when it comes to food. You know, sitting there, I hear this a lot of like, well, why do I have to eat healthy? And really hear like the context. I'm not saying you're saying this, Maria. I just want to really get a big way to be done with all or nothing mentality is recognizing when your inner victim is coming out. Like, why do I still have to be dieting? Why do I still have to struggle? Why can't I eat all the foods that I want to eat? I want you to ground into, why do you want to lose weight to begin with? Get grounded in the pain. Stop waiting for the pain to be so strong that then it forces you into action. There is nothing worse than sitting there and going, I just felt good a week ago. Why did I sabotage myself for a week and now I'm back here? That's tough. It's one thing to pick yourself up from that place 1, 2, 5 times, but months and years, right? So we want to eliminate this need to be in deep, deep pain. And the reason why we sabotage and bring ourselves into pain is best said by Jerry and Esther Hicks, the authors of things in. But they really just said, you know, as humans, we have a higher threshold for pain than we do for happiness. And Gay Hendricks talks about that too in a great book called Upper Limiting. And it's so true. I mean, that's why we have to experience so much pain, right? Either an illness or the loss of a loved one before we start living life, before we change things that we keep saying year and year we want to change. And it takes something really awful before we actually wake up and start taking consistent action. So I want to encourage you, don't wait for something bad to happen. And, you know, choose it. So I'm speaking to everybody. This isn't just Maria. I just really wanted, one second. Ooh. I love my mugs. I really do. Free yourself. So don't cough in your ear. So the victim is very much the dieter in you. That's that. Why can't I have this? Why? And so that's one thing. So recognize the dieter in you that is sitting there kind of like, you know, it's really your little girl that's just frustrated. And so that's one piece that I would say. The other thing to that is when you're surrounded by super, you know, yummy Super Bowl foods, you know, just sit there and go, okay, if it's not a hell yes, we want to go back to what I taught you during the Holiday Helper series. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And feel free to go back to those Facebook Lives for the Holiday Helper series and really look through those and see which ones speak to you, because we really talked in that. So you can just go to videos in my Facebook channel here and go and check that out and remind yourself of what we talked about during, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas and how to not go crazy over those foods. So remember, you want to just put a little bit on your plate, see what's a hell yes. Just because it's on your plate, be clear you don't have to eat it, but go in with my sole goal is to go home proud, to go home feeling light and proud of my choices, to know that I can attend a social event without it taking me a week to recover or, you know, derailing me from weight loss and the goals that I have here for myself. You know, I can go to the Super Bowl and I can leave feeling good and I don't have to feel deprived. So really, again, get connected to yourself and what piece of you is going to feel sad for not getting to eat certain foods, and then allow her, have a conversation with her and give her permission. Give her permission for what it is, what she's wanting, to let her know that she can have what she wants within reason. And once you give yourself that permission without the constant deprivation and restriction, because where you restrict your subconscious mind, you can say, I'm not going to eat chips and guacamole, and you can go in and you will go straight for the chips and guacamole because your subconscious mind does not understand the words no and not. It hears eat chips and guacamole. Okay. So that's one. So that's really what you want to do. And you want to go around and assess first, what do I really want to try here? And then put little amounts on your plate. And if it's not a hell yes, right, then it's a hell no. And then put it down. And then again, if you want to go back for seconds, you can. Watch your portions and notice the foods that, obviously crudité, having like nuts or cheese, but just watch how much they're still fats. Obviously don't make your entire night around desserts or just going crazy on carbs, right? Like balance it out and be clear before you go. And also don't go starving and stay hydrated throughout. Those are really like the best tips, and have a clear objective in mind of going to connect with people and to be present to people and not to make it all about food. That's what we do so much in our culture. We make it just all about food. Super Bowl is about coming together. It's about having a party. It's about fun. Yeah, there are Super Bowl foods, but let's be honest here. The foods that are out at Super Bowl, you can honestly get any day of the week, anywhere. So remind yourself, we're not in a third world country. You can have them whenever you want. And, if you want to take some home, you can. Right? You don't just have to consume it just because it's there and just because it's Super Bowl, right? So really stay conscious. And again, watch your portions. That's the biggest thing is once women and dieters have a tendency to feel really full, their mind goes right to, well, I've blown it. I might as well just keep eating, even though they already don't feel good. Don't go there. Move around. Get your plate of food, leave the table, leave the buffet area, leave the main room, and go talk to people. Keep drinking and assess, and then give yourself a cutoff time. I don't eat after 8 o'clock. I'm not eating after 7, right? And be in that space with yourself, and everything, you can have what you want within limits of, I'm going to taste things. I don't need to go crazy, right? The truth is, once you allow yourself those foods, you don't really want them. It's like anything else, once you're like, oh, I could have that, it's not quite as desirable. All right. I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys so much. And like I said, next week, we have a little celeb guest. She's on a great show, and she's a relationship coach. And we're coming together to talk about love and weight loss, how to not gain weight during this month, whether you have love or you don't have love, whether you're looking for it or you're putting off the dating game until you lose weight, whether you're married and you want to spice things up. I'm telling you, this will be a blast. You will have so much fun. You have to join, and we'll be taking tons of questions. So I hope that you come and join us next week. We will be talking about how to not allow the roller coaster of this holiday to cause you any weight gain. And like I said, and also how to put yourself out there in love and how to get more of what you want, both with your body and with feeling good and being in your body and loving you and losing the weight by loving you, and also enhancing relationships in your life, the one with yourself, the one with your partner, and with getting one if you don't already have one. All right. So you'll hear more about this. I'll be talking about it next week, but I can't wait to be with you next week for Done with Dieting Live. Get your free gift in the link below, and I will see you in the Done with Dieting group. All right. Much love, ladies.